Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Matt and this is Secondhand Home Theater. Here today I want to talk about projectors, but not any specific projector. I want to talk more about a generalized concept that I have about projectors, at least here in my home theater, and that is the idea of having two projectors, a critical reference viewing projector and an everyday non-critical daily driver projector. And so that is what we're going to talk about here today, but before we do that, leave your comments down below. Let me know what you think about the topic of multiple home theater projectors here in your home theater in 2025. So to start with, let me give you just a blunt answer, very basic answer to the question, do you need multiple home theater projectors in your home theater? And honestly, no, you don't. And really, if you're somebody who has what I call the critical reference viewing projector already in your home theater, there's probably not much of a reason to get a secondary projector. And really for me, because I am a very small YouTuber, I've kind of used that as a guise and as a reason to get multiple projectors here in my home theater over the last year and a half. But really, if it wasn't for this channel and I was really in my normal situation, I would probably only have one projector here in my home theater. But as it sits right now, I have two projectors. And part of that is because I got both these projectors at the same time when I got that big projector deal earlier this year, where I bought 5 high-end projectors all at once, and I paid virtually nothing for these projectors, which was an insane bargain. So that kind of dictates a little bit why I have them here, because it's that thing of like, well, I have both of them, so I might as well use them and find a reason to use them. I don't want to dwell on specific issues or specific things for each of the projectors I have. I want to talk about kind of a broad stroke idea. And that is for my setup, what I have here, and it's not for everybody. And it's this idea of the critical viewing projector, reference kind of level projector, and maybe not a reference level projector, but an everyday daily driver projector. Now for me, I have a reference level endgame projector that I've talked about previously. I'll have that video linked. I don't want to go into a whole ton of details about it here, but it's the Sim2 HT5000. I really have sung that projector's praises in my previous content, and it is far and away the best projector I have ever owned here in my home theater. And that is my reference viewing, critical viewing projector. But there is one catch with that projector. Despite all of its praises that I can sing, there is one catch with it, and that is it is a lamp-based projector. And so because of that, like any lamp-based projector, eventually that lamp is going to go out and it will need to be replaced. Now, under normal circumstances, it's just kind of par for the course. You kind of go into buying a lamp-based projector knowing you're going to have to replace the lamp at some point. And in most cases, that isn't that big of a deal, especially on newer projectors. The bit of a problem, I guess, with the HT5000 and its other kind of similar projectors of its time is that that projector is going on close to 20 years old, right in between 15 and 20 years old. And so because of that, high quality, genuine lamps out in the marketplace are not readily available most of the time. By and large, a lot of the stuff you're going to see for projectors this old are typically going to be lower quality knockoff lamps, like just complete knockoffs, or they're just lower quality reproduction lamps that will give you some life, but they're not going to be anywhere near as good as genuine. And because of that, that is the main reason why I have this idea of a daily driver projector that I'll get to in a second. And it's because I don't want to burn out the lamp and just put extra hours on the lamp that I don't need to put on, if that makes sense. The other thing with that is because the Sim2 HT5000 is such a large, bulky, heavy projector that weighs over 100 pounds. In order to remove the lamp and replace the lamp, I'm going to have to physically take the projector off of my shelf and replace the lamp and put it back on there, because the compartment for the lamp is on the back of the projector. Where some other projectors have it maybe on the side somewhere, this one is on the back. And so in order to get to that, I need to remove that projector off the shelf, do everything I need to do to it, and then get it back up there and realigned and recalibrated and everything. And that's really a two-person job because the projector is so big and heavy. So if you factor in the actual process and what that's going to entail to replace the lamp, and you add in the fact that high quality lamps are just usually not generally available for a projector like this, that is really where the daily driver projector comes into play. Now for me, my daily driver projector may be on an extreme end of a daily driver projector, because in and of itself, my Sim2 Mico that I use really, in my opinion, is an endgame level projector and really is a critical viewing projector in its own right. So it's a bit of an extreme example to say that that's kind of my non-critical projector, because it really, in my opinion, can be viewed critically for content. But I use the Sim2 Mico as my daily driver, and the main reason for that is because of the light source. The Mico is an LED-based projector, so it does not have a lamp. And the LEDs, under most normal circumstances, are going to last conservatively around 10,000 hours. And for me, in my level of viewing here in my home theater, that's probably going on 5 years, maybe 10 years worth of use before those LEDs would have to be replaced. And so that is where this idea of the two projectors comes in for me. This is not something for everybody. This is not a situation that would really come up for every person, because there are some other issues you have to consider with doing two projectors in your home theater. Now again, my projectors are kind of extreme examples of this because they are so big, they are so heavy, they are really high quality in my opinion, and really could be their own critical reference level, end game level projectors on their own. So really having two of them together is a bit excessive maybe in some people's minds. But what you're looking at in terms of issues is obviously space is a big one. Especially when you get into like this example that I have with my projectors, you have to have space to either mount on the ceiling or just a space to sit them on a shelf in a usable spot with their throw ratios and for the screen size, you know, and angles you're wanting to use in your home theater. You need to have physical space to do it. There's also the aesthetic kind of aspect, which may apply to some people, may not apply to others, but there is an aesthetic aspect there of having multiple projectors in a way in your room that doesn't look too out of place or out of the ordinary. You also have the cost factor, because you have to buy two projectors, and even buying lower end projectors, you're still going to spend double the amount because you're buying two of them. And then the big one, at least for me, is if you are somebody who has what you deem, you know, whatever make, model, type of projector it is that you like, but whatever that is, whatever you deem as a critical reference viewing projector, or especially an endgame level projector, what really is the need to have a second projector beyond that? And modernly, especially if you get into laser and LED-based projectors, you know, nowadays, there really is no reason to go out and get a secondary projector. So my situation in having these two projectors is somewhat unique, I suppose. And like I said, really you only need one, you don't need two. But I did want to explain a little bit about my situation here and why I have two projectors. Now, before I wrap the video up, I will say if you are somebody who may be interested in doing this and having a high quality reference level projector that you don't want to put excess hours on for whatever reason, what kind of projector would you look at to get as your daily driver? Now, this is going to be kind of broad strokes here, and the market changes all the time in terms of what's out there and readily available in your area, because not everyone lives where I live and vice versa. But broad strokes, you generally want, in my opinion, a laser or an LED-based projector would probably be the best option, something that will give you a lot of longevity that you don't have to worry about replacing light sources. Even if the quality may not be reference level, just having something that will give you a long kind of lifespan on the light source is a good option to pick up. Or on the flip side, if you go lamp-based for a daily driver, just go and find an old like JVC or an old Epson or an old Sony projector that's out in the market and get something like that. And these projectors, whether it's the JVCs specifically or Epsons or Sonys, whatever the case, they generally run less than a couple $100 typically on the secondhand market when you look through like eBay and different places. And the lamps on these are usually pretty good quality, even if they're not genuine original lamps. But if they're kind of secondary lamps, most reputable sellers still have some decent quality ones that you can get a couple $100 out of. Now you may not get the life, obviously, of a genuine lamp, but you can save some money there. But even buying a genuine lamp is usually a little bit less money than say something that's much higher end, either brand new or something extremely old. When you get in that middle ground of a handful of years old is usually the sweet spot for a lamp. But you could do that as well, get one of those projectors. But like I said, for me, my examples here in my home theater are kind of extreme, but you could still find laser-based projectors specifically from like Panasonic and different places for a couple $100 online, typically through eBay or whatever. And while the image may not be a critical reference level image in terms of color accuracy and, you know, shadow detail and interesting contrast ratio and all that stuff that you may look for a critical projector, if you want just something to throw on in the background to just watch TV, to game on, you know, and just do whatever, you can find some of these for relatively cheap, you know, on the secondhand market and get, you know, a couple years of use out of them. And to kind of just repeat the idea, you don't need two projectors. And even for me, if I had all things being kind of normal and that I wouldn't have found the crazy deal I did on the two projectors I have here, I probably wouldn't have two projectors. I'd probably still only have one single projector here in my home theater. So you definitely don't need two of them, but I wanted to explain why I have it. And so with that, I'm gonna close this video up, and I wanna say thank you to everyone again. If you stayed to the end of the video, I really do appreciate it. Again, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on having multiple projectors in your home theater. If you would want one, if you have one, you know, what your thoughts and opinions are on it. I always love to hear from everybody out in the comments that watches my content here. And I'm gonna say thank you to everyone. I really do appreciate all the support that everyone's given me. I can't say it enough. I really do appreciate everyone out there. And with that, I'm gonna end this video here. So I will see you the next time in the next video right here on Secondhand Home Theater. Thank you.